Well, with a victory up on Cobblestone, the Ninjas in Pyjamas propel themselves to the top of the ESL Pro League ladder. With another win here, they'll be clearly ahead of the rest of the pack, at least for now. My name is Mitch Leslie. I'm joined here by Yanko and, of course, Natu here. It could be our last game of the night coming around the corner. And a quintessential map, perhaps, for NiP coming up. It is Cash. What are your thoughts initially on this one here as well, especially knowing what NiP can produce for us on this one?
Yeah, they were undefeated on it for a long time. Then at DreamHack Summer, losing to Immortals and losing to Flipside, that the major things started going down a bit for them on Cash. But in Pro League, at least, they were pretty dominant, beating FaZe 2 times as well. Now this is a better map for Mouse. They play it right now more than they play Cobble. I know as much, but still going up against NiP on it, definitely a tough task.
Yeah, they did beat G2 on it off of a great performance from Nico. But then, it's going to be a tough one. NiP has had a good run on the map at the same time. So now Michaelella was a very de facto. He was just gone in that first map. It's going to be interesting how he implements himself here on this one, because I feel like he needs to be able to get a little bit more comfortable here to be productive.
He doesn't seem super comfortable. There were a couple of moments where the AWP he actually picked up and just wasn't quite able to hit the mark
Max 7
there.
was more effective than that.
Yeah, well, we saw that, of course, towards the last round.
To be fair, we know that he's not playing for any, Tier 1 team or anything.
Yeah,
we don't even know if he's playing actively right now, if he's practicing, so he might just be rusty for all we know.
Yeah, exactly.
That can be an issue as well, especially when you're up against solid competition like this one. So one of the few black marks on NiP's Cash record, I think the 70% win rate the last few months, was back towards a major. It was 16-2 they lost to Flipside there as well. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember what went wrong for NiP?
I mean, it was really uncharacteristic, so to speak, right? And NiP not being able to do anything on the map. More than anything else, it seemed that Flipside was really well prepared for them, Blade in particular. But when you have a loss that big, it's not just one thing you can point out. It's a lot of things going wrong for NiP and a lot of things going right for Flipside.
Yeah, it's not only that your opponent is probably anti-shotting you well, just reading off of your every single flash and smoke what is coming up, because it felt to me at a certain stage that teams really caught up on the way that NiP like to play, but it's also obviously going to be the fact that your individuals are just not playing up to par at all.
Is it I guess the elaborateness of the set plays that NiP bring onto a map like Cash? Is that why they're so good on? I mean, we could talk about after plan or late round situations as much as we'd like, but they're known for having these setups. You see them about to throw the smokes, you know that something's going to be happening there as well. Is that what it is? Teams have struggled to maybe catch up to that?
It's not even only that, it's also how you executed them. It's like how you commit to the bomb set once those smokes rain in, and how to make it as uncomfortable as possible for the defending team.
I think that also what's important to note is NiP with Threat became known for having really good anti-force buy rounds, right? Which in turn means they have a super strong economy. So you need to win probably at times 3 gun rounds even in a row to make them go for a pistol buy or something of the sort. And Cash, the way the map works in itself, you can go for a lot of executes where you would at least get the bomb down maybe towards the A bomb side. There will be trades going on. You might not necessarily win the round, but you will keep on pressuring the CT's economy, right? So with all of that, NiP always is in a position where they're pressuring their opponents while they have, a lot of room to work with.
So it was like what we saw between Dignitas and FaZe on Mirage, actually always pressuring, was going very close. Even while they were still building up an economy, even if they weren't winning, they were always inflicting some form of financial damage. So guys, very quickly before we jump in, we'll get some predictions. Get predictions from both of you before we go in.
Mouse.
Wow.
Cool, that's fine. I'm okay with just the team name.
Boys, eh?
I mean, predictions, online CS.
You have a coin here?
I mean, Renegades beat SK 60-0,
yeah,
so...
Anything goes at this point.
Australia, mates.
I'm just going to, for the sake of it, say NiP then.
Okay, so it's a coin flip for you guys. Not really sure what to expect here, basically, is the take-home message here. So for you guys at home, it's definitely going to be an interesting game ahead. We're going to finish off the night here with a bit of Henry G and a little bit of Sadikist as well.
Yes, a good way to end the night, I would say. It's probably the best way you could end the night. Counter-Strike and the best casting duo in the world to bring you through it.
Are they here as well?
They are. No, they're not. They're not. Yeah,
okay,
no.
Fair enough.
No, you're right. They're in the UK, actually, in the offices playing FPL.
Excellent. Well, there will be cash to finish things off. I agree with the death. It's very hard to gauge where this one will go. Obviously, the addition of Oscar makes Mousesports very influential as well. I'd say they've got a lot of chance to get his opening picks, but the problem is NiP so strong in this, famous for being a great cash team, but Michael Eddie not really showing up on that first map. I'm not really sure how easy they get on in this one. For me, he was very underwhelming. It's going to be a fast B play for the looks of things. Freiberg with the smoke and Molotov here, but Oscar, he's looking for those first kills. Going to be overwhelmed, surely.
Okay. Get right on a pogo stick, doesn't land the shot, tries to hold off as long as he can, and somehow Oscar stays alive long enough to give us a bit of a black screen as we look a little dazed and confused. Get right, okay, changing up the plant too. So things are all over the place right now. As he will put that down in back corner, try and defend it perhaps in a different way with the pistols as Setch. It's Chris J that will fall inside of the vents. Michael Lele finding that kill.
Well then, retake begins. Speedy has got the defuse gear here, but a lot of work to do. They haven't got any control of any of the key parts of the map here, and Exist, he certainly doesn't help them out as he gets the first headshot, but that does help as NiKo coming in from CT spawn, always so deadly on these retakes as well. 4 on 2, finds another headshot here. Now there's a chance as he looks to the third, can't land the shot, so Forrest and Get Right finish things off. You could see that as well. Oscar wanted to go for that initial peek at the start, but he was apprehensive. He could hear footsteps coming, and the bunny hopping, I guess you could call it, from 3 or 4 players coming on the corner. He keeps resetting his aim. He can't land those single one-tap headshots with the USP, so he does get shut down. The retake begins, and NiKo did what he could. He's only played to find frags for Mousesports there, but he doesn't get much for it. He's gone all in here. Head armor, Desert Eagle, and to be fair, I fancy his chances. Every single time he seems to have that weapon, you think surely not going to happen again, but he always finds something with it.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. NiKo, Deagle inside A main. We saw him hit a shot here just last night to start things off with Deagle, and he's going to get even more bold and try and push forward out toward T-spawn. Exist is waiting and watching this position. Get right flashing through. Caught by Oscar, meanwhile, over toward B, and that's a bit of a problem as they go down one man. If NiKo hits a Deag shot, could be a world of trouble for NiP, but they do pull it back. Chris J trying to do the same effect that NiKo had out toward Squeaky Door. Instead, he'll close door, and instead of going back all the way in the site, looks toward A main, can't find the shot on Forrest.
Well, there it is. Should be the round in heavy favor of NiP at this point. Dennis doing what he can from CT Spawn, trying to land one of these 1-digs. Not finding much for it so far, and the bomb will be making its way to the site now. The retake does begin, but Oscar, he's got the MAC-10. Maybe he can make something of this. There it is. It's not going to be him getting the kill, but Dennis through the edge of the forklift there gets the headshot towards Forrest. So 3 on 3, but still no nades, and just a MAC-10 to work with. The Molotovs started to drop as well, so it's going to be a difficult affair. I think probably save the SMG at this point, but they still want to fancy their chances here. Freiberg doing what he can from A main. It's actually getting pretty interesting now.
Speedy trying to get closer with this Deagle, try and pull this back. 1 versus 2. He's got time, but not much. Doesn't have a kit, and he's waiting for the kill to present itself. It never really does, and Exist walks out and eventually takes him down as he had to try and make a commitment to the bomb. 2-0 NiP as a result, but 3 players going down. Not the worst eco situation or force buy situation for Mousesports, as it forces up some decent reinvestment from NiP.
Yeah, it's something to work with. The kills you get does pay off some of the debts of the investments at the start. And you can see Oscar, once again, of course, I'm loving him being the all player on this map. Be interesting to see after Michael Eddie's performance, will he be doing the same thing on both sides? I would say it's probably not the best protocol, but they need to get him into that role if that's what they're planning on doing. So I guess they'll have to. He'll be on towards the Tech 9 this round. 4 AKs, 4 NiP. Full eco for Mousesports, of course, after the investment in the second. You can't really bring much into the third. Just try and do what you can with these couple of upgraded pistols. I think there's only one actually. It's just Speedy with the PT-50. They have a flashbang in the hands of Chris J, so stacking towards mid. You can see exactly what they're doing on the minimap right now. Flashing in towards middle when they have some presence, and this could work out if they time it correctly, but it's not getting anything in terms of sound cues at the moment to work with.
Exist on top of Boost does find NiKo as he pulls back to the canopy rather than the roof itself, and he picks up 2. Get Right was climbing from the vent in the meantime toward mid-hut. He finds Chris J rotating down highway, and now we're up to that 3-0 score. Michael Lele, 4,200. He's just shy of an AWP, so it's on to 5 AK-47s on this T side. Glass cannon for Chris J, and a full op with the head armor for Oscar. Double op immediately.
It's a good call. And I like it. I think the double up setup on Cash is very effective indeed. And these guys have got 2 very good AWPers as well. Oscar, probably one of the best in Europe right now. And we'll see what he can do as we go into the first real gun round here. And will be Oscar going towards B storage. Smoked out for now. We know Get Right loves to make his way into that area. And actually decent utility usage from here at the start. Denies Oscar any sort of vision in towards B storage. NiKo, he loves to be aggressive as well. This is classic Mousesports for now. They lock them down with that initial smoke towards the A storage entrance and then shutting them down with the B AWP as well. Actually allows them to get the boost going and a lot of information to start. Shuts down any sort of early play from the terrorists here. Chris J actually towards middle for now. NiP potentially boosting here, trying to work that first pick, but without the AWP, it's going to be a little bit harder. Probably want to be smoking off towards Connect, maybe Molotoving the vents as well. There's the Molotov from Michael Lady. I'm not sure where that went. I think that was actually towards sandbags. Freiburg somehow gets the first kill with the AK, challenging Chris J. I think there was a really well-timed flashbang, gives him that first kill. Now they've got control of middle and the man advantage.
Forrest looking to try and get the shot up highway. Exist doing the same from below the box, working together in this as Dennis will spray back through that squeaky doorway, trying to get damage out toward the NiP player waiting in the wings, as they've also got that boost up. We saw it temporarily. Dennis is going to go back out toward the storm and get right. Ooh, tags him down and follows it up. He takes one shot too many, Dennis, to give his position away, but nice reactions. Oscar up close as they've wrapped around from B, and Nico, he's just going to wait. They think it's completely clean. 1, 2, relocate to third as well. No! Michael Lele just pulls it back, but Speedy's there to drop him immediately after. Get right, 17 HP. He's going to clutch this, tries to straight transfer. Can't do it. Speedy will get the kill, and it goes 1 for Mousesports to the 3 of NiP.
It's always so exciting when a player has that kind of trigger discipline and players in front of them. You never know what's going to happen. Nico, so deadly in those positions, allows 2 to walk in front of him, nails those first 2, can't find the third, but they still win the round. It's enough to find Mousesports their first round on the board here, 3-1, and NiP still have enough money to buy, but you can see how that's affected the Mousesports economy here. This could be a chance for a full reset, so NiP still in heavy contention to go forward and continue their lead. As Oscar, the only player of the AWP, Chris J down to just a scout, and he was struggling against Freiburg in that first round, and Freiburg once again finds that initial kill, takes down Dennis with the headshot with the AK-47, and we'll see whether they can actually capitalize on this. Like we said, this is a huge round for them to pick up. It's towards middle once more. But Oscar, he fights back. Get right, lurking by himself once again. I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of that setup. A lot of teams know he does this. It's that wild smoke at the start of the round, and he's always trying to get towards checkers. And we cast him all the time. We know that's a nuance of his, so surely these teams are going to be aware of that as well. They know they can probably start rotating towards A. Once that's happened, we'll never have anyone else with him. And Nico looking to go aggressive again. All right, this time with the AWP, that's kind of an interesting addition from what we saw on Cobble. He finds that first pick.
Chris J. Oh, surprisingly pulls that back. Scout can't find the up-close shot, the no-scope. Did tag him, but it doesn't find the headshot to get the kill, which is what they were ultimately seeking for. It gives them a chance in the retake, mind you, with Oscar, and specifically the M4 on Speedy, but still a 3 versus 2 bomb down and ticking as Freiburg will watch from quad, and Mousesports is going to bail on that. So they can't pull this one off. They don't want to potentially face only 3 rounds, but an early reset on the CT side.
Yeah, definitely. They've got to save at this point. They don't have the kits. They don't have any grenades for an actual retake to be possible. So falling back towards B storage here, trying to keep the AWP in the hands of Oscar. We've talked about it all night. Someone like him definitely can make these rounds a possibility. Speedy joining in with the AK, and this is a dream situation for NiP there. Nico going aggressive towards A storage there. Without any backup, once again, I have to question that decision. He wasn't even flashed in. He was just trying to sneak around the corner and seeing what he could do with the UMP. There it is, the bomb does explode. I think one of the NiP players went down with the bomb there. Just 2 of them surviving. But that's a hard reset for Mousesports. They do carry over 2 weapons. And it's going to be a lot of pressure here. Do they force into this one? We discussed this being a tactic of NiP, allowing players to save weapons like this and force them into economical decisions going forward. So they have force-wooded this fully. 3 pistols. And they'll open Oscar. I'd love to see what he's going to do here. Doesn't look like he'll be too aggressive. Just towards middle for now. Flashes coming over, smokes as well. And Get Right loves to do this sort of play as well. Pushes through with his own smoke. Has some heavy damage towards the initial player at highway. Forrest to get that first kill towards Oscar. The orb's dropped. Dennis to salvage it.
Speedy's waiting for this, but already gone by the vents. You would have thought Get Right had the advantage, and Speedy, he snaps back in time. It returns to a 4 versus 4.
Sometimes, is it worth dying by yourself at these glory plays? You want to be playing as a team, surely, in these situations. When you get a kill, it looks great. You can't argue with it, but sometimes in cash, there's some very questionable decisions from Get Right, and ultimately it has given the advantage back towards Mousesports here. 4 on 3. Forrest doing a good job on the T side there with that AWP. Neutralizes the situation. They have got the advantage in terms of the firepower as well. Michael Ailey towards that A side, he finds a big scalp in the form of Nico. So at this point, surely backed away. The bomb's in T-spawn for now. Both the CTs are towards B. And you can see there's actually some A control coming in for Michael Ailey. He's actually calling for his teammates to come over. He's in quad, just jumping, seeing if any players are rotating through highway. I'll probably tell them they need to warp towards CT spawn before they make their next move, but I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine at this point.
Forced pre-scopes, door open, crosshair placement toward toxic barrels. Chris J fires a shot immediately in toward the site without really trying to calculate his aim, just hoping for something, and the flash, well, does the same response as he fires again, but it's going to push him back just a little bit. Dennis is going to play this with him with the AK as they work together. They've got to go this time. AWP out, Forrest missing a shot. He's pinched in, locked to that position. Chris J is going to watch him, and so give the AK now in Dennis's hands a bit more movement. He's going to go searching for the others, but Freiberg finds him first, and Michael will do the same onto Chris J. And now we're seeing the transition. It's Forrest op, as you mentioned, and Michael now on the AK, and it works out. A 2K for each of them in that round. 5-1 the score.
Yeah, Forrest very good on these two halves of finding kills and actually quite influential. It got pretty hairy at one point. Like I said, Get Right just seems to want to force his way into situations by himself. When they have the advantage as well, they're up against a low buy. Is it worth giving a weapon away? Like I said, it can look great, but sometimes you just got to think of the greater good of winning the round. What's going to actually give you a higher percentage chance in that manner? But fortunately for them, they did manage to pick it up, and it will be 5-1. A huge lead here on the T side of Cash. Another eco for Mousesports at this point. They're going to be a second stage loss bonus. For after this one, they get $2,400. It'll be enough to buy, but this is the sort of right they've got themselves into now. And this is exactly what NiP wanted. That's why they will let them save the orbs, save the AKs. They will be force buying around it. If you do win this round, that's what sets them up for a real rut here. They'll have to buy next round with M4s, Famases, maybe a couple of shotguns. And we'll see if NiP can just keep this round as clean as possible. Basically, they don't want to give a single kill away here. Don't even suggest giving away $300 to the CTs. That might help them get some armor or a bit of extra utility that could be influential in the next round. So, aim of the game. Get Right has got some backup this time, manages to land the first shot. Surely we'll be rotating over towards B now. That's where Freiberg's heading with the bomb. Exist holding mid storage for now, and Get Right wants to be the first player in here. Let's see how complicated of an execution they do. Just making sure they check every sort of angle, eradicating the risk factor as they Molotov in towards checkers, and actually onto the bomb side as well. They don't want to give anything away here. They want to make sure it's very safe, even though they know it's full eco, which is the correct way to do it, by the way. Why risk losing a man?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they'll play the long game here as well. Keeps the guns up and doesn't put any awkward pressure on them when things get a little bit chaotic. 32 seconds as well. They're already in the site. They've already done the hard task of clearing it out. Default plant for Freiberg. And not only or rather, have they cleared out the site, they don't really need to worry too much about post-plant positioning because they've already got those covered off, including that with a presence in middle. As Forrest is there with the AWP, he'll join the rest of his team, doesn't want to leave that AWP in a position where it's completely isolated and alone, and give a chance to Nico to pick it up, knowing he's the last alive as well. And he's going to try and just pick up what he can out of this as well. This is a desperate hope at this point in time because they're not really even giving him a chance. Forrest caught out, but there's the AWP just waiting. And with armor, head armor as well. USP from that range will not be a one-tap, so it'll give him a chance to line that up, and Exist just capitalizes going up with the MAC-10 instead.
Now here comes the problem. Exist probably knows he can keep that MAC-10. The players, 3 of them in fact, won't have head armor. And for anyone who's not aware, MAC-10 will absolutely mow down those players without the head armor. He can actually have a lot of run and gun potential, and that's perfect. There's not a single AWP here for Mousesports. 5 M4s, not a single defuse kit. This is the round they need to start working for some kills. They can't just sit back and allow execution or even themselves to be picked off one by one by the Forest AWP. He's gone for the fast play with the AWP. Had he not got flashed there, it could have worked out. He shoots through the mid-warehouse there and actually doesn't get it. Looked like he actually connected that one, and he'll be doing the boost up, another wall bang. Not landing for now, but they'll be aware there's no wall presence momentarily. And at this point, is just bleeding out the CTs. They know the economy is going to be weak for them as well. So just a couple of smokes remaining. That's it. No incendiaries. Just flashbangs will be left over. CT's not working hard for kills right now. Just trying to stick together and towards mid.
Close to Oscar, wasn't it? Tantalizingly close.
This is what they need to do. So Oscar getting boosted up here. Someone needs to find a kill. I think he'll probably get it on towards Michael. He faces any second, but they're actually ready for it now. There it is. Michael takes him down. There was a chance to strike, but the window of opportunity was missed. 5-on-4, still plenty of time to play over as well. The smoke's come towards middle. Don't even necessarily have to use them. That's just trying to take vision away from the CTs. Chris J fully flashed as they start to make their way towards B storage.
This gets shots out, and there you go, MAC-10. Okay, no headshots, but still,
still works.
Perfect, why not? Money as well, built up for him. Speedy, waiting inside sight. That Molotov gonna push him out. No, yes, okay, does reach him. And he didn't think it did. He goes back in, blinded up. That's even more of a problem because originally it didn't spread that far. There was a bit of a gap between the two, but he gets caught out and goes down. He does get 1 kill before that happens, but it's still gonna leave them in a 4 versus 2. Exist 6 HP, can afford to play murder at this point in time. And Forrest again just holding that AWP over into the next round.
Well, there it is. Mousesports, like we said, they had to hunt for something to start around. It was Oscar who was elected to boost up, and had he found the opening kill, that would have been something to work with there. But you could see they didn't have enough to work with. The execution came in from NiP. It's actually a very efficient one as well. They already had the man advantage exist, picking up that chance kill with the Mac 10 towards middle as well. He's upgraded to an M4. Just Speedy in the back of B. Another great set piece from NiP comes in. The Molotovs all over the site join with the flashbang as well. That's such a deadly combo. If you can land the flashbang with the same timing as a Molotov and a player's blind and doesn't even know he's sending this Molotov, that can be so deadly. It worked out perfectly as Speedy does find one kill, but ultimately can't do anything to win the round. 5 players shut down, 4 Mousesports here. 4th stage loss bonus means $2,900, another eco surely. They can partial buy into this, they get 34 next round, so 5-7s, Deagles, etc. is about all they can bring into the next, but this is pretty convincing so far from NiP.
Convincing indeed as they go back to a pretty standard setup. Again, Exist, he didn't even need to buy out once more. He's picked up an M4 to carry over. Perfect situation. Nades rain toward the white box. No one waiting out on that position just now as Mouse with peek from Nico. Toward that A main position, Freiburg nearly catches them in transition. Now, Dennis knows he's here. They're also rotating back towards Z connector. That means they can put pressure on middle again from this spot as Freiburg, quick tap out towards CT. He's going to watch it, so that'll negate that threat. Meanwhile, it's Oscar out toward Get Right. Crosshair placement's there. It's threatening, and it does land. You could feel that one coming through as Oscar. He had all intent to go after Get Right. He certainly found it. It's been traded back, and doubly so now as they've got it down to just a 1 versus 3. It's Dennis who goes back toward middle late. Deagle. That same feeling as Forrest just dancing around it, isn't he? But he's got to reload. That'll buy some damage and space for Forrest, and the writing was on the wall. Tag up on Exist. This is a round that wasn't quite as efficient as the others.
Well then, we do go into round number 10 here. Money stabilizing finally for Mousesports after those 4 spies, those rounds they were trying to get themselves out of a tricky situation. And has cost them dearly. They're going to be 8-1 down, but still, believe it or not, there's still plenty of opportunity to get back into this game. A 9-6, an 8-7, obviously, that's absolutely ideal. I don't think that's going to happen, but they can get themselves to 5 or 6, still possibility of taking this map as Nico. He'll build the AWP this time, going to be flashing himself into A main, loves this aggressive play so much. Not going to find anyone just yet. It'll be NiP focusing towards middle. They use that smoke in the beginning of A storage to actually take down the Molotov that the CT can throw at the start of the round towards middle. And they've actually left middle completely open. That's fine. But it does give NiP possibilities in terms of fakes and being a little bit devious towards Mousesports. I guess they have to reposition themselves with the orbs and make sure they take care of highway. So far, looks like NiP going for the B split. 2 players ready towards checkers. There's Oscar. He's watching B storage, trying to watch both areas. He needs to be very careful as he's trying to bait in Speedy as well. He's tucked in on the left-hand corner.
And that flash is very well thrown. It's going to completely blind him out. You're right, he still has to kind of commit to this, though, to bait Speedy in, doesn't he? Oh,
that hit?
It did hit Forrest. You can see the blood behind as it was dead on. He's going to fall back, finds Get Right as well, who found Speedy before, so the bait was gone. He could try and retreat to the site, but he never quite makes it. As Exist will punish him before he gets home. And it's going to be Chris J now back in. Flash out, got bomb inside of the site, but Michael Lille there to trade him back. He's got a crossover. Nico just arriving. He'll go toward heaven. Try and bring that AWP into play, but smoke's in front. A second one now thrown toward the tree. Dennis is waiting to see if Nico can even find the opening. As he's looking to rotate through middle to vent potentially. I think they've already committed to it, and that'll confirm it. Michael Lille going down. Dennis will grab the op and slip away.
Yeah, another round that Mousesports seemed to have something to work with there, but that setup was so difficult for Oscar. A lot of pressure on him. He's trying to bait in Speedy, but he's got to watch the vents at the same time as well. He's just going to come down to the timing in the end. He goes to the wall back towards Forrest, hits the shot, of course, but at that point, NiP have got so close, taking down his teammate, and then he's completely done for. And it's going to be a 2 versus 1 here. They're going to try and take down his orb to finish things off. They've got plenty of money, Exist with 16K, so why not? They might as well try and hunt him down. Another round where NiP come out on top, and I think the pause is coming in. This will, of course, be tactical. We saw Mousesports do the same thing on Cobble when they were struggling, and they came back and actually won the round in return. This time they actually have maximum loss bonus, so they've got about $3,900 after last, but 9-1 down. It'll be another very difficult buy. I think another partial has to come in. Deagle's body armor, try something like a B push, get that kill towards Get Right, then fall back, adjust yourself. Maybe have a scout waiting at A instead, just to slow them down a little bit. That would probably be Michael. We know Get Right plays there by himself, and scout on A, trying to get some body shots while your teammates are pushing the T-spawn. See if you can just pepper them down a bit, but a chance to recalibrate and work out what the problems are here.
wondering why Oscar, I know Michael obviously has the ESL Pro League in by default as he's a stand-in, not the NiP symbol. I'm wondering why Oscar does as well. Is that due to late roster changes and it just hasn't updated within the ESEA system?
I guess so. I don't know how it works.
I know it's just one of those talking points, but it's just kind of curious.
Yeah.
I like to know how the inner workings go on.
But at this point, you can see the double orb set up. It's going to be Michael and Forrest, the big green guns. And if Mousesports were to force into this map, if they were, best case scenario, FAMASes, scouts, shotguns. And if they do force in this round, I'm pretty much sure the game's over. If they partial buy it and allow themselves to get to 10-1 and then come back and get 10-5, that's still winnable, right? 5 rounds is enough. It's not great, but it's enough to work. If you win the pistol, you're straight back into it, you know? So I'd say play the long game at this point. I don't think forcing into this is even a possibility. I would not even recommend considering that. Deagles, push B, scout on A. Frybo's out of here. He's had enough.
Why not? He's certainly shown us enough tonight. I'm still impressed with the Cobblestone game. But 9-1 is... we mentioned it as well. NiP has played cash a lot this year. And aside from a tumultuous time in sort of middle of 2015 when Envious was absolutely dominating NiP, this was when NiP was still finishing in top 4 positions, but it was evident they were not #1 in the world. They'd been away from that status for a while. They were getting bullied by Envious during their top form, and this was one of the maps that kind of got stripped away from NiP in that sense, but they've always been very good on cash.
Yeah, I'd say the cash masters, especially in the last few months, it seems like one of their unstoppable maps. A lot of teams are straight up beat to it against them. It seems like their home map, probably what they're most comfortable on at the moment, is, of course, the new Sunroom poster and the simple homage. Here we go. He's going to recreate it. 1. Nope, got to do 2 as well.
Yeah, that's not right. Okay, there's one right there.
Then 2.
2, yeah.
It's not FBL.
Oh, you do watch CS, Rushley. I was curious if you did or not, because you certainly seem to snap around quite a bit. I suppose you have to watch when you observe. I don't watch when I cast.
Yeah, it seems to go one in here and out the other for you.
It doesn't even really go in the ears, does it? It's not how it works.
Well, it looks like we are going to be getting back into this one. It's going to be... I'm interested to see. I'm assuming they'll just get deagled, right? And maybe some 5.7s or PT50s. You can see the guns being exchanged in T-spawn. What's going on now? Just enjoying themselves.
1, 2, 3. Oh.
Gonna nail it. The perfect exchange.
We need to see, like, this is one of those moments when they need to get...
There it is, There's the scout. That's one part of my plan complete already. So...
Your master plan.
My master plan.
You're the scientist behind this.
Yeah.
You're the Hojo that created Sephiroth and Cloud.
Can we not have a Final Fantasy reference every cast?
No, we definitely have to.
Probably not. Definitely is probably the wrong word.
Definitely is definitely the right word.
Anyway, NiKo's got body armor as well. So he's the A player, right? So my plan is coming out so far. So he plays A by himself. He maybe goes A minute start with a flashbang, tries to get that first pick or a tag. While he's doing that, his teammates, 4 of them, right? They've got a flashbang. They've got upgraded pistols. Flash into B storage. Getting that kill and get right. If they get it, great. They fall back at that point. But now I've just heard...
We have to change servers. Was that part of your master plan, Henry?
Yeah, and then the server crashes, and we have to change it. So I think we'll take a quick break while we sort that out. That's going to take a few minutes.
I like that part of your plan.
Yeah, this is all part of it. It all comes together. You'll see what happens when we get back into this. But we'll take a very quick break, guys. And I said that with bated breath. Maybe it won't be very quick, but don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, guys. We're ready to roll 9-1 the score. We got a tactical timeout call from Mousesports. Rightfully so, down 9-1. Pretty abysmal start.
Yeah, I think that sums it up. It's been a pretty rocky road for them. The last time on Cobble, they took the pause. They managed to bounce back and actually win the half. So, you know, maybe there's no chance of winning the half, but they could probably get 10-5. Maybe we're discussing they had what, like $3,800, I think, maybe 4,000. And
you had a master plan you were going on about.
Well, I did have a plan. I speculated it. Now it's kind of broken. The pace of it is gone.
Right.
They were getting into it. They were feeling it.
Too long. The chemicals
they really thought it. I could see them working towards it, but maybe they think against it now. But basically, my idea was at about $4K, they're going to have maximum loss bonus next time. Let's get a scout, get some deagles, one scout on A, push towards B, try and get that kill on Get Right. He's normally by himself. That's where I'd be going with it. NiP, the scout on A. That's what I'm hoping for. And if it happens, just got the update. Another break.
We didn't say. He didn't say that. They said they messed up again. Which means.
So okay, so we're already having a discussion. We won't go to break. I think we won't go to a break. Let's try and make this interesting.
It's all right. We're still not as far behind as Northern Arena.
I think
what do you want to talk about? We already did this once today.
We did. If you missed it, well, I'm using this time as some self-promotion. If you missed it, there was a great podcast on today.
You tend to do that.
Drop the bomb. We talked about everything CSGO. Make sure you check it out.
Anything else you want to promote about yourself?
Just that.
Okay.
You know.
Just wondering.
ESL have helped us out with it. You know, so
I'm
sure they're happy to have a little plug here and there.
Yeah, why not?
Anyway, so we've had this game so far. NiP, Michael Ailey, he's looked okay on Cash. They're winning 9-1. You can't really call out anyone's performances when you're winning everything. It's a team game after all. And if they're winning rounds and he's finding the kill here and there, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, and he did get the 2 kill with the shotgun in the last map.
That's true. He did his dive. You could do nothing all game, and then if you're the one who wins the game for your team, then you know what? That's enough.
Just like Sidney Crosby in the 2010 Olympics. He had a terrible Olympics, but he got the golden goal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Exactly the point I would have gone for.
I know you don't watch real sports. So sorry. Don't worry about it.
Ice hockey or something?
Yeah, there you go. It's a sport. We just call it hockey.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 versions, isn't there? You can have like
not really
field hockey, field hockey.
Not. Those are all just imitations.
Is it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is ice hockey the original?
Actually, I think field hockey might be, but why would it be called field hockey? Why wouldn't it just be hockey?
Don't know. It's on a field.
But why isn't? That's my point, though. Hockey is just hockey. It's not ice hockey, which implies that it was the origin.
I'd call it ice hockey. Oh, they're playing ice hockey.
It's fun. So I got my Final Fantasy reference in. I did not get a Formula 1 reference in. Felipe Massa retired.
Yep. If I had any information about him, I'd join in the conversation. I just don't really know what that is.
I know you don't watch real sports.
No, I don't. I've spent my life dedicated to Counter-Strike. Missed out on everything.
Apparently I'm the nerd, but the other guy is cool as AF. I don't know what that means.
You're the nerd. I mean, you're the one who's liking all the sports.
Yeah, I'm the one that literally did everything else except for gaming in my life. Yet here I am. Nerd. What went wrong?
Oh, we're actually into this one. So it's cool. See, we carried it through of our own banter. They didn't even have to talk about Counter-Strike things. No?
No.
Nope.
It's fine. We're not into it.
Okay, no.
I think right now,
I'm not going to say anything
at this
until I
point
actually
in
get a
time,
confirmation.
ESL is just taking on the trolling game. They really just want to get involved. Hashtag new ESL.
New ESL.
This has to be live. We're 1 minute and 51 in. There's a proper buy.
This is the buy. This is the buy we were looking for. Look at Matt. I've called it perfectly. I've actually done it. Forward towards B. Scout on A. Every time. He nails it.
No, he doesn't. He misses. And he goes down to 66, Nico. I really wish you were wrong. But he's inside of the site. We'll see what they can try and do. Flash coming through. And Nico's just going to wait for anyone to push that, respectively. Man up. Try and dump them when they come through, but nades landing on him. He's losing further HP. Goes for the jump. What is that? The no-scoping to get right. Yes, sir! And he's got the tag into Freiburg. Follows it up through the smoke as Freiburg's completely blind. Well, the master plan, it's definitely starting to work out. We're not done just yet. Exist is going to pull this back. We've got highlight material, but will they get the icing on the cake by sealing the round? They do. A timeout extended by a delay. Go to the scouts and go to Nico.
The coach, Henry G, calls it perfectly as usual.
All right, make this about you.
He absolutely nails it. That was just worked perfectly. To be fair, though, those jumping shots from Nico, that's what did it. What the hell was this? Boom. there's not really much he can do to avoid that situation. It's so unlikely to happen. Perfect flashbangs coming in as well. Nico gets 2, and the setup works. He's just buying time for his teammates. That's what we wanted to see, and that was more than enough. We go into round number 2. The break works again for Mousesports this time. They get the second round of the board. Oscar stuck in a horrible position. Molotovs all around him, but he gets the first shot as well. Takes time, get right. Looking for the second. That could have been it. And he has an opportunity, but only finds one. That's enough considering the circumstances. What's Speedy up to? He just pushes through randomly. He gets a kill for it, but now still isolated behind his teammate Smoke. And he gets a grenade to the face. Exist takes him down.
Zinedine Zidane's the grenade, but it's going to be Exist taking out Chris J as well. Dennis and Nico versus Forrest, Exist, and Micah Lilly. Dennis trying to play inside of those smokes over toward B. He's got a nade pulled. I take it back. It's a Go TV glitch, as he's got an AK out. I thought he had a nade drawn for some reason, but he's got an invisible weapon at this point in time. He's going to throw out some nades now. Flash as well. Back to the AK in hand. Try desperately to find an angle favorable to him as Forrest is looking for the same opportunity with the AWP in return, but the further they get slowed, the more time is gone and the less opportunity they'll have to rotate back, more so because the rotation's coming in toward middle. And in the site, they do find Dennis. Now they've got time for the plant. It's late from Nico, but he does have an AWP. He's going to try desperately to catch them in transition after the post plant. They won't cross. I can't imagine them trying to take that chance. Michael Lilly will just sit back in the site, watch heaven. And the door close up, watched by Forrest, which is a very, very audacious angle to cover with an AWP. But Nico's going to have to face it no less with the same weaponry. And who would you favor up close? I'd put my money on Nico. The problem is the second man in all this. Michael Lilly standing up on top of the boxes, staring it down, and he's got the angle Nico never would have expected.
Well, there it is. After Mousesports win with that force buy there, you thought that would give them some resurgence back into this game. But it's another difficult result for them. Another reset comes through. And it's round number 13. Difficult time. You can see 2 players on sub $2,000. That's Nico and Oscar. They just managed to adjust themselves slightly. Speedy has bought an M4. So Deagle, M4, a couple of P250s, and Forrest, he's got the AWP towards middle. This is a chance for NiP to run away with this game. Already hitting double figures and 3 rounds to go. It's going to be Nico aggressive towards Squeaky Door. Michael Lilly spots him, can't nail the shot. Playing a fire here, facing Nico, but he does manage to take him down. And then Turn actually pick up the advantage while Dennis just hunting for what he can and beginning of A main there. At this point, NiP don't even have to commit to anything. This whole pack work together. I think Michael's going down there, yeah.
Yeah, just can't get there fast enough. And when he does, he takes a bit of early damage in the exchange. So NiP with the core 4, the stand in no more. Exist throwing a Molotov in will force Chris J out the door, and he'll get the kill. It's going to be AK-47 for him to do so against merely a pistol.
Ooh,
I do like the effort. I admire it.
Does 2 damage, but it hit him. So
that's all that counts.
It's fine. It works. Oh, it's going to be a B play now. Pretty much a guaranteed situation. Speedy probably wants to think about saving that M4, but they're going to be going towards vents. I guess at this point, they desperately need rounds. They need someone to go absolutely sick here, but it's going to be Get Right. Nailing that first headshot. Speedy alone, 4 versus 1, no kit, no grenades. You feel like he has to save. Now, still hasn't got a gun in his hands in our screen. Do you know what, like in Quake, when I used to play that, you used to have this setting where you had no guns, you want nothing on your UI whatsoever, you wanted the full screen. I wish you could still do that in CS, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, well, in CS, there's, to be fair, not as much as like vertical angles as Quake, but you can block a lot of vision by having the gun up.
Yeah, I would love that. But
I came from Iron Sights games, which you could block off half the friggin' screen by bringing your gun up, so.
Well, then this is just getting pretty dire now for Mousesports. They have to buy at this point. Can't go into the second half with just 2 rounds. So Scouts, Pistols, Famous, and Michael Lilly. He fancies the all this time. Decent spawn for him. Freiburg gets the second kill. You don't think they'll be expecting a third to Oscar. Could do some serious work here. It's Freiburg committing by himself. And Nico, once again, aggressive towards A storage. Manages to neutralize things here in a 3-on-3. You feel like that might have been a bit of an overcommitment from NiP at that point, but still.
Yeah, you assume and make an ass out of you and me. It makes the situation really awkward because they just walk in, as you mentioned, they wouldn't have anticipated the third member, but they assumed it. They never actually cleared it out correctly.
And Freiburg went running to his doom at that point. That's the thing, like, you have the first 2 kills, and it's very easy to get ahead of yourself and get excited and think, oh, I've won the round, let's get in the bomb site, but all of a sudden, things can turn on their head, and this round certainly has. It goes into 3-on-3, 1 minute remaining. Still a huge advantage for NiP, of course, considering Speedy doesn't even have a weapon, but with Nico alive and an AK-47 in his hands, anything can happen.
Lele tries.
Did he hit him?
I think he did, yep. Oscar's down to 21, crossing over, so he definitely got him through edge of the wall. He's going to go back and get right.
Wow.
Surprisingly doesn't snap back in time despite that 21 HP. Oscar gets the headshot lineup. And the AK prevails. It gives the man advantage to Mousesports. 33 seconds. They're still trying to get out from middle. We know how awkward this can be as well, walking up highway alone with no one on A to help with smokes or utility. You've got such an easy lineup from quad, so they're going to try and go B instead. It's Michael to lead the way through. And this is a great camera angle to cover it off. Fortunately, the Quake gun does not work for Speedy this time. It exists to get the kill, and Oscar, he's laid in. They bypassed him, but he tries to wait too long and get a little bit too smart for his own good, as Exist will find him in return. And Nico's got to do something in this. Try and pull it back. Bomb's going to go down. 4 seconds. He'll wait to confirm that before committing. Clears off the angles and inside of the site. 2 will wait to find. Can't really set a full crossfire from this position, but they can time their peaks accordingly. And with the gun barrel showing through the wall, tag to 10. Exist to finish out the round. A 3K for him.
12-2. We go into the final round of the half here, and the money's still completely dire for Mousesports. They had to force the last few rounds. They missed out on Cobble and NiP with the stand-in as well. The new stand-in, they were playing with Disco Doppler before, so now it's more fresh blood, I guess. And Michael was part of the lineup in previous iterations, so it's not hard, as much as a hard adjustment, but still 2 scouts for Mousesports to finish things off. Chris J and Nico, 3 Deagles to accompany them. Gotta say, Matt, this is looking pretty grim. Okay, well, every time apparently he seems to be nailing these shots. Don't know what to say. There's not really much I can do to analyze that, right? It's just Nico, like, he's just absolutely nuts. There's no one else you can compare him to.
Guy's just nutty.
Just one of those players, right? When you talk about CS as a general approach to the game and how it should be played, to him it doesn't apply. He can just do what the hell he wants.
Forrest will go in. Both vents have to be popped on the way through. That gives the information to Speedy, who turns around with a Deagle. Getting the shot, and not the gun, though, and to pick up as Get Right did wait toward Toxic. He's known to do that. He'll play there. They try and flush people out of the vents and let him to get the kill, but that time it just didn't work out because he had never cleared up behind the box, as was never the plan. So Forrest got caught off by that. Meanwhile, though, Exist is going to clear out a site bomb. Back toward middle should start making its way in this direction. Dennis also gunless in this is going to have a Deagle, just to clarify for everyone. Good time Molotov, actually, because that's exactly where Dennis was hoping to go from the top of highway. Now, I don't think Exist will have heard him be that close, but it's going to limit his options. He's going to have to just sit and wait for anyone walking out of main now with that smoke as well. It is an angle that could hinder Freiburg's entry, but Exist finds it first. Chris can't land the shot, does the second time. Bomb's going to go plant regardless. 25 seconds, they'll just stare him down, and Exist again will be the one that finds the important kills mid-round. 13-2 at half. Impressive, I have to say, overall from NiP, and that reset actually ends up hurting them. Yeah, well, what can we say about that one? A huge lead for NiP, 13-2 in the first half. They'll be switching over to the CT side, arguably the more favoured side. Not by much, but still, I would say that's definitely true. And you can see Mousesports there after some difficult force buys there. Couldn't really get rolling. Reset after every single round. Heavy aggression coming from them at the start. Just never seemed to string anything together. And NiP in a fantastic position. And this is one of the big rounds on your screen right now. Nico trying to do what he can with the pistol, but let's see whether he can bounce back and do they have any footing into the next half. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. Ready for halftime number 2, our last game of Night 10 ESL Pro League Season 4. NiP, Mousesports, and a very one-sided game. NiP 13-2 over Mousesports on the T side. They'll now go CT, and we could be done pretty quickly if they win this pistol.
We'll
They
see.
always forget to mute themselves after the half, the production team, and then
Yeah.
we just get a blast of something in our ear. It's great.
It's really nice. But it's going to be 3 sets of armor here. Mousesports, a must-win pistol. I can't really put any more urgency on that because if they lose it, it's pretty much over at that point. It's going to be NiP with 4 sets of armor. And Mousesports actually setting 3 players towards Squeaky Door. I like that. It can work out sometimes, but also gives the opportunity for a big spray down. And Get Right going aggressive towards A main. Gets taken by Chrisday. That's a signal for his teammates to move right now as they actually get onto the A site. Undetected, uncontested for now. So this should be an almost guaranteed round for Mousesports. This retake is very difficult and coming from all angles as well. Speedy was boosted up, waiting for his time to strike. 5 on 2, they've done it. Now the uphill battle begins to try and actually find as many rounds as they possibly can in a row.
Oscar gets the shot into Freiburg in turn. They forced Forrest way back on this. He can't do anything about it. So never mind what I said about done quickly if they get pistol, because Mousesports, well, they pick it up instead. So chance to start something, Henry. We've seen stranger things. You literally have. You like that series.
Yeah, that's awesome. You should watch it. You'd
Not
like
my
it.
thing. I watched part of it and I wasn't into it.
Really?
It's not my thing.
Thought it was amazing. Anyway, it's going to be 5 smokes for NiP here. No armor. It's not a full force buy. Like Lady keeping things a little bit more modest and purchase anything really, but it's going to be a fast play from Mousesports. Boosting up, seeing if there's any close mid confrontation. Nothing available for now. Oscar just sets himself up with the one, but it does fire, but Michael Lady hears it. Won't be facing this time. And now it's just a waiting game. Mousesports can, we saw them on Cobble, they like to be very slow on the T side. Flush out every possibility, then going together. Sometimes to their detriment, sometimes not having enough time to actually plant the bomb if they get caught with one player on the bomb side, but well, Oscar hoping he can land that first shot.
Let's stay and wait for that first shot to present itself as well. Get Right will position himself differently inside of the A site as he gets a little bit more company. He'll move and vacate the position at Forklift. It's easier for Exist to slip in there, or so it seems. Flashes, smokes. Perhaps we're dressed in front of A main using what utility they can to put pressure on Mousesports to correctly enter the site when they do, and that rate will be right now as smoke out to the left of Exist. He's going to have to sit in this position. CZ75 drawn, and they're actually backing away from this. Bomb's gone over. Freiburg's still inside of this B site, but that's a lot of pressure to put on one individual. And he's going to have to hit the shot any second. Deagle in hand, lining it up for the headshot beside the board, but the jump in, you always talk about that, jumping to change the accuracy. It throws it off, can't land headshot. Speedy gets the kill, and that should pretty much be the round at this point in time. Oscar's going to get Michael Lele. He'll go down in the end, but they still have a lurk player way out towards Squeaky that should catch them in rotation. It's Nico. He'll be a little bit late, so all they have to do is just deter them and hold them out of these vents, which Dennis is going to try and do.
Yeah, that jump thing is like, you still can dive, you jump around the corner. The idea is you reset the defending CT's aim by so much, they can't get multi-frags, at least not very easily. But this time it does work out quite nicely for Mousesports here. A couple of frags coming in for NiP. Exist with the CZ, looking for his second. Doesn't actually find it though, so it's just be Get Right, looking for the exit kills towards the B side. Speedy will be coming towards him as well, so potentially, I think he's always got a shot that was guaranteed. There it is. And manages to pick up a UMP, but will he be able to save it? That's the next question. He's got someone marking in. It's going to be Chris J. There it is, finds the final kill. So Mousesports start their campaign. And just to make a point as well, this is, we normally kind of discuss my mentality on the force buys when you see when you have a huge lead here. That's why NiP didn't really go into much on the second. They want to make sure they have everything they possibly can play with on the first gun round here, the 4th round, and it means you can actually have incendiaries, you can have rifles, defuse kits, and we'll see whether it actually comes in next round. As we enter round number 3, it's actually a focus towards middle from NiP. Using some smoke, they've got H's as well. That'll probably 3 of them towards boost, I'd imagine. And Nico gets the first headshot. I imagine this comes to airstrike towards, there it is. There's 1, 2, third might do it. No, he didn't really get tagged up too much for those first 2.
Yeah, first one went a little deep. Get Right's waiting with it too. I would have loved to have seen it. Don't you love when that happens? Like, that's such a classic play, and you always feel so good when you throw the nades and it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dennis will get Freiburg down. That'll leave just Forrest. Well, never mind. That tree's been cut. It's now Chris inside of the site, bomb being planted, and they'll boost up to look for exits at this point.
Well, 5-on-2, exist and get right. Not really much to play with. That airstrike was pretty much all they had going for them and going to that round, but didn't get much for it. NiP took a bit of damage, but that was about it. It will be now a chance for NiP to go hunting, get his confidence up. He's going to need it. Going to need his strength for this epic comeback. Could be on the cards. You never know. Oh, that doesn't help.
Shot from Dennis, successful, but Oscar decides that's enough. I wanted that kill.
Well, here we go then. This is a much more positive situation for a CT side in the first gun round. Normally we see them struggling a little bit, but NiP are able to get the orbs out. You can see Exist actually leading the charge by quite some margin, man. He's got 28 kills and 9 deaths. No one else on his level, really.
I mean, it's kind of shown. Every time we saw them on the terrorist side, he was getting 3Ks late in rounds, walking in and clearing out sites. So I'm not entirely surprised, but we haven't really noticed it in that way. Hasn't been flashy, I guess you could say. It's just been consistently chipping at it.
Well, then maybe a counter boost coming in here. Oscar takes considerable damage at the start of the round. Actually, grenade lands in his chest, and pretty default setup here for the CTs. Just someone below boost spot, and NiP once again by himself towards Squeaky Door, just trying to get that first pick. Does manage to spot get right, I believe it was, but now they will reposition.
NiP forced out away from that door with all of the damage dealt into him early. I'm gonna try, I like this. Use whatever there is inside of that smoke. Graphics in 2016, straight edges in something that loft and looms. Oscar's still got that cap presented. That's, whew, what are your graphics settings? I don't know if I'd spot that fast enough, but we'll see if he can, if anyone goes that direction away from the quad position. I was trying to lead something on there as if Rush might have turned off the X-ray because there was no one on the screen, but it was in fact on and there was no one there. You could have looked at mini-map.
Lady though, he finds that first shot, and could this be the round that gives NiP to number 14 a step closer as 30 seconds remain? The execution comes in from Mousesports, and next kill going to be very influential indeed. Exist, the big performer so far, spraying wildly, and he hits the kill onto a key player, NiP from Squeaky Door.
Well done indeed. Dennis though, planting. Do they boost on top, Speedy? Try and use the vision while they can? Or are they just going to have to fight from within? Look at the amount of bullets being sprayed toward them as well. It's a firing range, and caught in the middle of it is Dennis. Live training. And Speedy now has to pull this back. They cross over, and Forrest nails the shot immediately with the M4. That's going to be 14 rounds now for NiP. And they could go 2-0 on the evening quite comfortably here if they can ride this out a little bit further. The money on this T side, we're not in server because we switched over. Unfortunately, I can't take a peek right now, but it should be enough for one more buy, I think, based on their early performance. No, it's not. I thought they were a little bit more efficient on round 2. So they'll buy an AWP. They can get another additional gun out on Speedy and drop one. They'll force what they can, but it's not going to be comfortable.
Definitely not. It's 2 AKs overall. NiP might have something on the floor. He's at 25 AKs. You can drop the UMP. So a tough round. Basically, fundamentally based around Oscar here finding the first pick. He's boosted up, but Molotov down. Doesn't matter apparently. Takes his chances in the flames and hits the first shot. Michael Eddy taken down there, so something to work with here. Not much, but something. As Forrest tries to reposition, gets a bit closer towards middle. At this point, Mousesports, we know they like to do a slow gameplay so far, so this is perfect. They get another kill, going to sit back and see what else is available. NiP, I'd assume, will be towards Squeaky Door himself, which he is. But this time he's only got the UMP. There's not really much he can do in terms of picks with that weapon.
Forrest waiting for this to present. Problem is now as he backs away, we just saw it. Chris just waiting for that angle. So Forrest almost pretty much has to stay here. He won't know that yet. Oh, gun barrel, that's gonna pull him back further. Chris. I dare say Chris is gonna get this. Forrest is gonna start to get impatient with time continues on. He hasn't heard Oscar drop away. The flash, well, it's a smoke. I thought it might have been a flash going over top, and he'll cover back in. He's got support in this. That'll start to pull them in. Forrest hears it. Where does he look first? Goes for the trigger discipline. Nope, takes what he can get, but only gets one. Oscar jumping back in will find the shot, and the smoke out toward that Z connector is going to force them away. Mid now in the control of the terrace, and they're going to split onto the B site. Exist not really in the best position just as of yet, but now he'll have the AWP in a much better location. Missing a first shot, though, and Freiburg down on the heaven immediately is going to put a lot of pressure as they round the corner. Already up close, first shot successful. NiP goes down up close. Exist showing some flair with an AWP of all weapons, but he can't replicate that again on Speedy, and it's going to now just be Get Right in a 1 versus 2. Quickly arriving on the scene, though. Bomb not crossed. It's dropped down. 8 seconds to work, and Get Right's got to fight this. Sees the shoulder from Speedy, and he's hesitated on this. He's not planted in time. That's 3 seconds. I'm sure of it.
No, he's got it.
Okay, he just got it. And Get Right's going to watch this out. Knows he's not left the site. Where could he possibly be? Behind the big box or to the right, waiting for the angle. Just sees the bullet come through. Now he knows. Tries to peek back in. He's managed to cross it out silently, and he's got the shot. It's going to be that point for NiP.
Yeah, you have to wake up pretty early in the morning to be Get Right in a 1v1. You knew exactly what's going on there, hoping that the time was going to run out. But as long as you have just about 4 on the clock, you can get it down. That's exactly what he had. So it was Get Right trying to outplay the situation. But this was the key moment. What was this from Exist? Like you said, very rare to see him pick up an AWP. First shot was good, but the no-scope, that was very flashy indeed. Here he comes. It was NiP coming around, hoping to catch him out there, but the headshot as well just makes it look pretty impressive. It's the last round, essentially, here. You can see 4 pistols and a UMP. That's all they've got to work with. It will take an absolute magician play from someone like NiP to actually get back into this one. 15-5, 10 rounds in a row required from Mousesports to take us to overtime. And you feel like NiP would want to close things out right here, right now.
And they should do, all things considered. Molotov on door. Smoke on either side. Get Right does hold off NiP as they try and charge toward the quad position. Speedy's going to follow that up. He goes down, same hand, same gun, same position for Get Right lineup as well. And Exist has 2. It's all on to just Chris J. And
nice.
The poor lad's been greeted by a bullet in the dome. It's going to now be 16 to, I don't even know, what was it, 3?
Yeah, I think so, maybe 4.
It was, yeah, 5 in the end.
3, 4, 5, one of them. What are the numbers?
That many numbers. Impressive stuff, and I mean, Mousesports not really showing up on cash, but in some senses we knew that NiP was very good, but you start out that slow, 9-1, and then the reset, unfortunately.
With the first showing of Michael Ailey here, we thought they'd be struggling on some of these maps. They come out 2-0 tonight. So.
And he wasn't even really the one that stepped up. This was a team game. I think Freiburg was firing away very well, especially on Cobblestone, and then we just saw Exist drop over 30.
Yep. That was actually a really strong performance from him. Like you said, not even getting like 6 clutches or anything like that or multiple spray downs, just contributing every single round and being a useful 1 or 2 kills every single time. And what a landslide victory. NiP continue their strong cash form.
Well, that said, we're going to throw it back over to the desk. And that's it for this week. 10 days of Pro League already done. Mitch, I love you.
I love you too, mate. Thank you. What a performance there as well. Exist, a player pointed out there with Mercurial showing here on cash.
Yeah, it feels like he was just the first among equals, though, right? It felt like NiP were just running over Mousesports.
Absolutely.
From the start, first couple of gun rounds, they were just getting picked off. You know, in default, NiP would get a man advantage early on, and then they would just pick a side pretty much. And you could see that early on, Mouse was stuck in 2v3 retakes where the A bomb set is already taken over, and they opted to save, you know, a couple of rounds. But you can only save so many times. They needed to try and get some rounds on the board, and they just couldn't make it happen.
Well, let's talk about Counter-Strike Nightmares. That's, you know, a classic example.
You said exactly that.
Yeah, you lose the pistol, and then obviously you're 3-0 down. You win the 4th round. You know, 1v1, and then you lost the 5th round, and then you'll totally reset. And on top of that, then, yeah, I mean, middle was definitely a point where Mouse was struggling, and Chris J wasn't having a fun time at all. I mean, he was sitting at, what, 2 frags, like, to the bottom, to the tail end of the CT, half for them. And then NiP, with their flawless executes toward the B bomb side, for example, was just, yeah, Mouse was very uncomfortable. They were not having a lot of fun there. The only, I mean, when you're getting as little rounds as they did, and it was off of basically NiP single-handedly just destroying NiP, you know, that's not a fun statistic to remember.
And it's something that always is highlighted in losing matches for Mousesports. Quite often it is NiP that is called upon to try and salvage the situation, but it's just one man here as well. I remember, and Spitty in one situation that we'll talk about B executes there, where the NiP dropped 3 Molotovs on his head over on that B side as well. It's like he's woken up to a bad nightmare.
Yeah, you just get bombarded. You get a flash first, and Molotovs come in, another flash comes in, you don't even know where you are, then you're burning, you have guys coming left, right, and center. I mean, what you gonna do in that situation? Like, he got even 1 kill, I remember, in one of those situations, so that's more than you even can ask for anymore.
Well, we're going to wrap this one up here, gentlemen. Thank you for that one. A very strong showing from NiP. Cash, obviously, as we know, being their home ground. Well, they did not disappoint this time as well. But let's recap a little bit here over what we've already seen tonight. I was quite surprised here. Flipside did put up a strong fight on towards Train, but Na'Vi really ground them out when we went over towards Cobblestone.
Yeah, Train especially. I mean, Na'Vi just pulled through because of their superior individual skill, basically. Coming out on top of a lot of rounds where they were down even 3-on-5. At the same time, Flipside did the same in a lot of the occasions, but in the end, it was just Na'Vi being superior individually.
And of course, Cobblestone was where the nightmare begun for Mousesports, though a bit of a stronger start for them. Unfortunately, they petered out towards the end.
Yeah, they had a couple of really close rounds where, you know, they were running down the clock towards the end. A couple of individual mistakes too in crucial rounds. The one before from Freiburg probably should have never happened, but I mean, it is how it is. That's what cost them the game in the end.
Yeah, and obviously a pretty sloppy showing from them on Cash. They were mollified quite heavily by NiP on that map.
Yeah, you said, Janko was saying how they were kind of ran over. I thought they were just demolished.
Yeah, they're just not a promising performance from them as well. And, you know, we don't really harp on players here, or at least we've tried to avoid it as well. But, you know, a lot of people, fans of Chris J especially, are looking to see him find his role in that team as well. And look, you can say a lot when there's one player performing poorly in a team that's performing poorly as well. But for him, a couple rough games off the back of this one here, well, I'll be interested to see how Mouse keep integrating it.
Yeah, it's tough to see that he at points he seems to be third on the food chain of opping. I mean, you know, he used to be the prominent main opper for the team. So definitely going to take a bit of time for him to adjust, you know. Gotta give him a bit of time. Let's see in a month's time how he's really adjusting to this new role. And if it's still rough, then you gotta try to find some new medicine there.
Yeah, the guy's got some time. We'll give him a grace period, no doubt about it. Let's have a look at what's coming up in the North American region later on this evening. Of course, Northern Arena is pumping away in Canada, but there are still matches happening over there. And we can have a look at them here. Renegades versus Team Liquid now. Renegades obviously with a very strong showing against already SK.
Best team in the world confirmed.
Yeah, Australia boys. It's going to be an Aussie doubleheader though as well, because we move on to SK versus Winter Fox later on in the piece here as well. Winter Fox showing up a little bit now as well, but SK definitely have to answer back to some of their critics, of course. It wasn't just the one map that really hurt them up against Renegades, as well as a fairly average nuke showing. So 4 games coming up for you guys in that one. And then we are going to be back later on. It won't be we won't be here tomorrow or over the weekend. It's going to be Tuesday that we do return here to the ESL Pro League for another match week. I think it's just the 2 match nights coming at you as well. Still going to be jam full of great CSGO action though, so no doubt about it. Guys, do come and join us for that one as well. Alex should be back here on the desk and I'll get to go and hang around on the caster desk. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night and we'll see you next time.